No matter what part of the journey you're in, you might be asking yourself, am I hitting the financial milestones that I need to be hitting? Well, first, you know what those financial milestones are. And secondly, have you really thought about making sure, right, if we're talking about retirement as part of that financial milestone, have we thought about the setup? Because if you think about climbing a mountain, right, what's the most important thing? It's not to get to the top, it's really to get down safely. And some of the equipment that you need to go up is going to be different than what you need going down. The challenge being that when you get to that summit, if you didn't pack your bags properly, you might have a lot of trouble getting down. We're going to talk about this now. People talk about life is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? And financially, it works the same way. Let's talk about it. Life may be short in hindsight, but it's long while you're living it. Setting yourself up for financial stability throughout your life requires discipline. Like a marathon runner, it helps to check if you're hitting certain milestones at the right pace to stay ahead of the pack. This is something we see with younger people, right? A lot of times they feel that they're so far behind that they got to get way ahead of where they are. They want to be so much further ahead. But maybe you're 20, 25, 30 years old, and what's your lifespan? It might be 80, 90, 100, or even further than that. So you have a long, long time to go. Where are you in that journey, and are you hitting those milestones? You might be further down the line, 40 or 50, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm so far behind. But have you really measured to see where you are, right? So these are the things that you have to start thinking about is, am I on track? Am I on pace? And what is my actual goal? When you figure out your goal, you can start to determine, are you at the milestones you want to be at? Previously, we were talking about hitting milestones, right? So here's one. What does it take to retire? Well, according to Wealth Financial, if you are a millennial or younger, you will need $3 million by retirement age to live comfortably. This may seem impossible, but by creating personal benchmarks, $3 million becomes much more achievable. The question is, where do you live? And what does retirement actually look like for you? Are you staying in the same house? Are you upsizing? Are you downsizing? Are you going to go live in a tiny home? Are you in a high tax state or a low tax state? All these things make a difference, and you may not be ready to understand where you're going to retire. So having this $3 million as a benchmark to say, hey, am I on track? That might be a good starting spot, but you really need to take a look at your income and say, I'm living this kind of lifestyle. Is $3 million really the number I need to maintain the life that I'm living? So look, retirement is attainable at any age, but right now we're looking at young adulthood. What are some of the milestones that you need to be looking at? Well, according to Fidelity, you should strive to have saved 1 times your yearly income by age 30. However, it's important to remember that a savings account is not a good retirement strategy. The earlier you invest in financial markets, the longer compound interest has to work for you. Start a Roth IRA or other retirement accounts as early as possible, and also consider a side hustle to boost your income. So what are we looking at here, right? The idea of boosting your income to help you with your savings. We always talk about getting to a 20% savings mark on the income that you're bringing in. If you're able to save 20% of your gross income, within 5 years, you should be able to have 1 times your income, right? And if you start putting it in accounts that have investments, the way investment accounts work and compound interest works, right? You have a little bit going along, and that curve kind of spikes up at the end. So the earlier you get started with all of that, the better off you're going to be later on down the road. So the next milestone is what people are calling midlife. I don't agree that 40 is midlife, but let's talk about this, right? By age 40, you should have 3 times your yearly income saved and 6 times or more by age 50. They also recommend investing at least 15% of your pre-tax income. Throughout your 30s and 40s, it's important to maximize your potential earnings. Consider making a career shift. Pew Research found that people who switch companies saw a 10% raise on average. Now, this is according to Pew Research. The question you got to ask yourself, right, if we think back to the last thing that we were talking about is, well, do I have the ability to change jobs? If so, will that give me a raise? But are you changing jobs just for more money, or are you changing jobs for satisfaction? Because a lot of times people need to think about what's making them happy, right? So I think focusing on that and then being able to build a side hustle on the side because you're not drained from your 9-to-5 job, you could start to work from 5 to 9, doing something that you're even more passionate about. That will help you not only save 15% of your pre-tax income, but it'll also help you drive to a higher number. Because if you're starting in your 40s on saving, you're probably going to need to hit a higher number than 20 or 15 or 10%. You probably want to get up a little more than that to get you to where you need to be. So now you've finally reached that milestone, right? And you're getting ready to retire. Well, let's take a look at a couple things here, right? At age 62, what they're saying is you should have probably about 14 years of savings, or you should have been saving about 25% of that income. But what's interesting when we talk about retirement is at 62, they're telling you you can have a withdrawal rate at 3.9% after retiring. That means if you have $1 million portfolio, you're allowed to take out $39,000 a year to sustain that portfolio. And these numbers come from Fidelity. You could check that because those numbers are different varying on the source. And what's interesting is as you go out in life at age 65, that withdrawal rate's 4.2%. At age 67, it's 4.5%. And the challenge happens is when people retire, but they need 10% because they haven't saved enough, right? That's why we talk about these milestones. They're so important because if we get to the right number, you may be able to retire sooner rather than later because you did a great job saving. Let's talk about some key takeaways that we have here, right? Maximize your earning potential with smart career moves. Save early and invest often. Beware of lifestyle inflation. Be strictly honest with yourself about finances. And when in doubt, consult an expert. I think the thing that you really need to think about is, yes, be concerned about that lifestyle inflation. What does that mean? As you start earning more each and every year, right, are you still staying on that same path of savings? Because as your income goes up, you could just put all that money into your lifestyle rather than saving it. And that's not going to get you to where you want to be. The next thing you want to think about is, again, retirement is a journey and it starts today. And that journey will continue until you're gone, right? So at some point, you will stop earning money. And at some point, you will need to start living off of the money that you have saved. So if you think about preparing yourself today and having the proper tools for retirement, that will help you in this long journey so that you can live the life that you want to live. So right now, you may be thinking, wow, I need to know more, or like this was really valuable, but I need help, right? And that's what we're here for. If you click the link below, one of the team members at Epic will sit down with you, really get to understand your core values, where you're at, and help you with where you want to get to so that you can live the life you want to live and enjoy that retirement rather than being stuck to the TV wondering what's happening with the markets and all this other craziness that's going on. So again, click that link below. One of the team members will reach out to you and we'll help you on that journey. So I hope you found this video valuable. Really appreciate you watching through to the end here. If you did like it, go ahead, give it a like. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get a notification. We're putting out new content every single day. And go ahead and check out this next video.